Winter has always demanded respect from those who lived without modern heating. Grandparents didn't just layer blankets. They used their home's design, airflow, and simple physics to stay warm. One practice stands out as both clever and deceptively simple: the precise positioning of the bed. Understanding this tip isn't just about nostalgia. It's about applying real historical wisdom to modern living spaces, whether you're prepping for cold winters, studying historical household methods, or simply optimizing comfort in drafty rooms. Place your bed against the warmest wall possible. Grandparents knew that not all walls are equal in winter. Exterior walls, especially in older homes, lose heat quickly, even with thick plaster or insulation. They instinctively placed beds along interior walls, which retain heat from the rest of the house and provide a barrier against drafts. In practice, this means observing your home's layout and identifying walls that remain consistently warmer throughout the day. Even a small difference in temperature between walls can impact your sleep quality. A bed against an interior wall could mean the difference between a restless, chilled night and a steady, comfortable sleep. For those managing off-grid cabins or uninsulated rooms, this method is essential. You don't need high-tech thermometers. Just notice which walls feel warmer in the evening and align your sleeping space accordingly. Avoid direct draft paths from windows or doors. Even with a fireplace or wood stove, drafts undermine warmth. Grandparents often position beds to avoid air currents from windows, doors, or vents. They recognize that cold air sinks, so sleeping directly under a window or near a poorly sealed door would negate any heat collected during the day. So, to replicate this today, you'll want to pay attention to where cold air sneaks into your room. Just moving a bed a few inches away from a window or hanging a thick curtain as a barrier can really make a difference in reducing heat loss. You know, in those old historical homes, the gap between the window frame and the wall was often enough to create a chilly draft. These days, folks can use draft stoppers or even just a simple fabric barrier to do the same job. Honestly, it's a low-effort adjustment that gives you immediate results. Keep the head of the bed closest to the heat source. Back in the day, there wasn't any central heating, so heat sources were all about what you had, maybe a wood stove, fireplace, or a coal heater. Our grandparents knew that the body benefits most when warmth is focused around the torso and head. So beds were set up with the head end facing the stove or fireplace, and it wasn't just for comfort, it was for survival. Even in today's rooms, this principle still works. If you position your headboard closer to a radiator, space heater, or wood stove, you're concentrating warmth right where it's needed most. For folks living off-grid, putting the head end near a thermal mass wall, like a stone chimney or some brickwork, follows that old technique. Those walls soak up heat during the day and then radiate it at night, keeping the bed area warmer. Elevate the bed slightly to avoid cold floor drafts. Cold floors were a major issue in homes without modern insulation. Grandparents sometimes elevated their beds on platforms, wooden slats, or even extra blankets to create a buffer between the body and the cold floor. This wasn't just comfort, it was a practical thermal strategy. Cold air collects at ground level, so raising the sleeping surface reduces direct exposure. Today, you can use a bed frame, a thick rug underneath, or even a straw mat under the mattress if recreating historical methods. For survivalists, this is especially valuable when sleeping in unheated cabins or temporary shelters. Place the bed away from external corners of the room. Corners where two exterior walls meet were notorious for temperature drops. Grandparents often avoided placing beds in these cold spots, recognizing that corners exacerbate draft effects and trap cold air. Instead, beds were positioned along longer, interior walls where airflow was less turbulent and heat more stable. In modern adaptation, even in insulated rooms, this tip reduces unnecessary energy loss and enhances comfort. For example, in an older farmhouse or off-grid cabin, A bed in the middle of an interior wall will stay warmer than one tucked into a corner next to an exposed window and wall junction. Add layers or barriers only after positioning. While layering blankets or quilts is an obvious step, grandparents treated the bed's location as the first line of defense. Blankets and quilts amplified warmth but did not replace strategic placement. After positioning the bed optimally, additional measures like heavy quilts, feather beds, or wool throws were applied. In practical application, first identify your ideal bed placement, then enhance insulation. This order ensures that every additional layer works effectively, rather than compensating for poor positioning. So let's talk about how you can apply historical logic to modern homes. Even if you've got central heating, these old principles can still improve your comfort and help reduce energy use. Interior walls, they still retain heat better, drafts are still going to be there, and thermal mass is still important. Whether it's a historical home, a cabin, or even a prepper shelter, you can really benefit from just replicating these strategies exactly. For instance, in a wood cabin, placing your sleeping platform along an interior wall, keeping it just a bit elevated, and having your head face the stove, well, that mirrors centuries-old wisdom and really maximizes heat retention. Even a small adjustment, like shifting a bed 2 or 3 feet, can actually produce a pretty noticeable warmth improvement. Monitor and adjust based on seasonal changes. Grandparents didn't set a bed and forget it. Winter required constant adaptation. They would observe which walls lost heat fastest during cold snaps or how sunlight through south-facing windows affected room warmth. Modern preppers can do the same. Notice seasonal temperature shifts and adjust bed placement to maintain comfort. This active, observational approach is part of the historical practice. It's about working with your environment, not against it. Even minor adjustments like rotating the bed slightly or adding a blanket under the mattress recreate the responsiveness our grandparents relied upon. Make it a sustainable, long-term habit. This bed positioning method isn't a one-time fix, it's a seasonal habit with lasting benefits. Historical households implemented it year after year, refining placement as home conditions changed. For modern viewers, understanding this practice transforms a simple bedroom arrangement into a reliable winter survival tactic. It's an actionable skill you can carry across different homes, cabins, or temporary shelters, ensuring warmth without excessive reliance on modern heating systems. Winter bed positioning may seem trivial, but it's a lesson in applied history. By following these steps, you're not just recreating a nostalgic practice, you're leveraging centuries of practical household wisdom to improve comfort, conserve energy, and survive in cold conditions. Align your bed along the warmest interior wall, avoid drafts, elevate your sleeping platform, and direct your head toward the heat source. Observe and adjust as the season progresses, and you'll sleep warmer and smarter than most people relying solely on modern heating. If you found these strategies valuable and want to uncover more practical historical survival tips, make sure to subscribe to Warfield Prepper Chronicles. Share this guide with fellow history enthusiasts and preppers so more people can benefit from the simple, effective wisdom our grandparents swore by.